Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John McClain of the Houston Chronicle, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
Welcome back into SicEm365 Radio. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle joins us now. And John, Deshaun Watson, pending with all the lawsuits and a $50,000 per day fine, has reported to camp. Is there, how does this change things for him and the Texans when it comes to a potential trade?
Has no change whatsoever. I see people in the national media going, well, this means he's going to be traded.
John, you there? We lost you for a second.
Well, it looks like we don't have John McClain, so we'll try and reconnect with him there.
All right, we'll get back to him. Disconnected. Oh, you got it? All right, might have been a Wi-Fi issue. Okay. All right, go ahead, John. Sorry, we lost you after about the first
That's
word.
Okay. I wanted to tell you that, first of all, I see people acting like the Texans have opened up trade discussions. They've had trade discussions open since March. But nobody is interested in him, or nobody's making him an offer because he has 22 civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault and sexual misconduct. He has 10 complaints filed with the police. He has a police investigation, an NFL investigation. He could be suspended for the season. Who's going to make a trade for quarterback in that situation? Nobody. And imagine a criticism if you did. Now, if he gets those legal issues wrapped up, they'll trade him. They'll trade him tonight if a team makes him a good offer. But who's going to take on that headache? So by showing up, he's turned up the distraction level to DEFCON, and he avoids the $50,000 a day fine. We're waiting to see, will he be on the practice field? Could he possibly take snaps away from their other quarterbacks who need them? He's not going to play another down for the Texans. Roger Goodell hasn't put him on the exempt list, which is paid leave. They could send him home. And so you got excused absences. We won't fine you under the collective bargaining agreement. And we'll let you know when you're traded, which could be whenever somebody makes an offer. So nothing has changed other than he showed up and he's increased the level of interest in the first day of practice tomorrow.
Did that make for some awkwardness, John, just him being around given everything that's in play right now?
Well, you got so many new players there. They've got 50 as of last count. He'd have to introduce himself around. You know, he doesn't know the coaches. There's 3 back from last year, 2 on offense. He hasn't participated in anything. He told them when he got here, I want to be traded. I'm here for one reason. They said, we want to trade you. We will trade you if somebody makes us a good offer. People are saying they asked for 3 ones. They didn't. That wasn't the case. That was before the draft. So there's a lot of misinformation out there on Watson, as there is for all those people that Aaron Rodgers would never be back.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, part of that is that the rumor is that, and Trey Wingo reported this, that Randall Cobb going back to the Packers from the Texans was a key cog in that. Have you heard anything to that effect about Randall Cobb getting traded?
Yeah, they're working on a trade with the Packers. They're trying to work out the compensation. They'll gladly give up Cobb, who missed the last 6 games last year, started 2 games. They traded for Anthony Miller from the Bears, had 49 catches last season. He's going into the last year of his contract. He was second-round pick in 2018, so they've got a guy ready to replace Cobb. They'll get a low-round draft choice.
John McClain, Houston Chronicle, with us on Tuesdays at 5:30 on SicEm365 Radio. John, what are your thoughts from where you are on what we've seen in college football since last Wednesday?
Well, first of all, the proposal I've seen that I like the most would be for Baylor, Tech, TCU, and Oklahoma State to join Utah, Colorado, Arizona State in an Eastern division of the 16-team Pac-16. I'd love to see that happen. If they stay in the Big 12, I'd like to see them get Cincinnati and Houston, and it would make them even better in basketball because the Longhorns and Sooners were nothing special. And we talked about on my show here this morning about A&M and Texas playing for the first time. And John Lopez and Aggie said, I'd love to see it on Thanksgiving night, national TV. They'd be scalping tickets like the Super Bowl. I said, no, wait a minute. If they put it on Thanksgiving night, who would care other than Austin and College Station? Because the Longhorns might be about 4-7 at that point. They better do it the first game of the season when the Longhorns are guaranteed of not having a losing record in the SEC. If Texas can't win in the Big 12, how in the world do they think they're going to win in the SEC?
John, are you concerned about Baylor's future, or do you think that they
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody should be concerned about Baylor's future and Tech and all of them, because they're sitting here in the middle of the country. There's talk about, the Big Ten is going to take in ACC, or ACC is going to take Big Ten. I would try to get with the Pac-12 because it's nothing special right now. But if the Big 12 tries to survive by adding other teams, that next TV contract is going to be minuscule. And but I'm not surprised at this. And I know you guys aren't either. It's just all about the money. And SEC is the best conference. And I've done 4 talk shows with SEC stations, and I told them, well, you guys get a load of UT telling you what to do. And they're like, oh, we're the SEC. Nobody tells us what to do. I said, yeah, that's what the Big 8 said when they became the Big 12, and A&M, Nebraska, Missouri, and Colorado got tired of Texas telling them what to do. The rest of us have known all our lives that Texas drives that bus and we grab a seat and just hope they take us in the right direction.
Yeah, that it's a lot of truth to that. There will be some changes you watch with some things, even how it affects recruiting at some point, just subtly or maybe slowly with razor cuts. John, the NFL and the vaccination and Roger Goodell and what he has said, did the NFL Players Association agree to this about, or is that anything that they negotiate with about teams that have players that test positive and games are canceled? I saw a player, and I can't remember who it was, say, where is the NFL PA blank, blank, blank in this? What is the protocol there?
The NFLPA is siding with the people with common sense and not the nitwits who don't get vaccinated. If you get vaccinated and you miss it, and you come down with COVID-19, or you have to be quarantined and you miss a game and they lose, and you miss the playoffs by one game or home field advantage by one game, you've got to feel like a moron because you've cost your team, you've cost yourself, your organization, your fans. I just don't understand why people won't get vaccinated. I had 2. They took a total of 9 seconds is all they took for me to get 2 vaccinations, and I'm so glad I did. I just can't understand coaches or players who are too stupid or too stubborn or a combination of both to get vaccinated.
By the way, my shot took 9 minutes based on how it felt when that thing went in my arm. But thanks for the nice.
That's because you were crying and pulling on your nose to make it hurt worse than the needle.
Yeah, you're right. John, thank you. Thank you for your time as always.
Guys.
Thank you. That's John McClain, Hall of Fame writer from the Houston Chronicle. Had one of the comments on YouTube say, I have to listen to John in Houston. Now I got to listen to you. He's unbelievable. He's on radio stations throughout the country.
That Deshaun Watson thing is just bizarre. I mean, the fact that he's, arrived and is wanting to trade, and they're saying, hey, we're trying to. Like, nobody wants you, dude. And why would anybody at this point in time with what all is still hanging over his head? I mean, I don't know what to believe as far as that story goes, and I don't have enough information outside of just allegations. I learned my lesson with the Baylor stuff to not jump to conclusions with just allegations, because any lawyer can draw up and say anything he wants to in an accusation with no repercussions. So it very well may have been the case that there's 20-something massage therapists that he cross the line with. It could be like 22 people just making up. I don't know. So I'm fascinated by just the turns this has taken and where he was just a year ago to now where he is. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, it's the biggest fall from grace.
Deshaun Watson was he was the nice guy quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was. And he might still be. Again, like right to your point, he might still be. We don't know. This is so strange. And the fact that I do think that the lawyer who is representing the women is not doing them a whole lot of favors PR-wise.
He's loving the spotlight.
Because he's really enjoying the spotlight as opposed to being someone who's fighting for a cause. He doesn't appear to be doing that. He's kind of fighting for Tony Busby and not these 22 alleged victims, and I think that is where it kind of gets sad. And, Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin's no slouch either, but I've never gotten the feeling that he's trying to create theater.
All right, let's do this. We have top 5 coming up in a little bit. We're going to break here, or do we need to take a break between now and?
Yes.
Break a break here.